So, if you want to spot the absolute most manipulative person in a job interview, you actually shouldn't look for the person who's lying. You should look for the person who is telling the brutal, honest truth.
Which sounds completely backwards, I know.
Right. It really does. But welcome to the deep dive. Today, our mission is figuring out exactly how to spot a manipulator in those, high-stakes situations where everyone else is busy putting on a mask.
And it's a fascinating problem to solve because manipulators are, well, they're inherently difficult to spot.
Yeah.
I mean, by definition, their entire goal is to make you think exactly what they want you to think without you ever realizing that your reality is being subtly bent.
Right. They don't exactly wear a name tag announcing their intentions.
Exactly. Most of the time, they blend in so perfectly that you don't even suspect you're dealing with a predator in a corporate environment.
So to figure out how they operate, we're looking at this brilliant piece of psychological research. It's out of the University of Novi Sad in Serbia.
Yeah, the researchers there wanted to build basically a psychological trap.
A trap for manipulators.
Right. They wanted to test how different types of dark personalities behave when they are actively trying to make a good impression, like, say, sitting across from a hiring manager.
And the way they constructed this trap is just, well, it's what makes the findings so robust.
It really is. So the researchers recruited 104 subjects and had them fill out this highly specific psychological questionnaire.
Okay.
But the catch is they had them do it twice, under two completely different sets of instructions. So they created two distinct psychological realities.
Right. So the first time they took it, the subjects were told to be as brutally honest as possible. Just, lay all your cards on the table. And then the second time, the instructions flipped. They were told to imagine this questionnaire was a crucial part of a job application for a position they desperately wanted.
So we have round one, which is who you actually are in the dark, basically.
Yeah.
And round two, which is who you pretend to be when a paycheck is on the line.
And what they were measuring with this questionnaire is it's a set of traits psychologists call the dark tetrad.
Right, the dark tetrad. This consists of 4 specific personality types. You've got narcissism, psychopathy, sadism, and manipulativeness.
Which goes by the clinical name of Machiavellianism.
Exactly, Machiavellianism.
So to put that into perspective for you, it's basically like asking a comic book villain to write 2 different resumes.
That's a great way to look at it.
Like one is for their private therapist where they spill all their darkest impulses, and the second is for a corporate desk job where they have to look like the ultimate team player.
Yeah, exactly. But before we get to the actual results, let's actually define what we mean by Machiavellianism, because we throw that word around a lot in pop culture.
Oh, definitely. Everyone uses it for any politician or reality TV star.
Right. But clinically, a Machiavellian personality is fundamentally characterized by a cold, calculating view of other human beings.
Oh, yeah.
So while a narcissist is obsessed with their own ego and a psychopath is driven by a lack of empathy and impulse control, a Machiavellian operates completely differently. They are strategic. They view social interactions as a chessboard.
So like in a workplace, this is the person who doesn't just steal your idea. They strategically feed you the idea 3 weeks earlier so that when they present it to the boss, they can casually mention how they mentored you through the brainstorming process.
Wow. Yeah, that is a perfectly terrifying example. They play the long game.
They absolutely play the long game.
And the questionnaire uses specific statements to measure this. It asks subjects to rate how much they agree with ideas like, it is wise to flatter important people.
Or never tell anyone the real reason you did something unless it is useful to do so.
Exactly. So when the subjects took the test the first time under the be totally honest instructions, the researchers got a baseline of who actually possessed these dark traits.
Right. And then comes the second time around, the pretend job interview. And this brings up the concept of faking good.
Yeah, faking good, which is something we all do.
Oh, for sure. I mean, from the time we're in kindergarten, we're socially conditioned to hide our rough edges when we're being evaluated.
Right.
If you're applying for a job, you do not lead with your worst qualities.
The instinct to fake good is universal. We naturally emphasize our strengths and mask our flaws when the stakes are high.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So the researchers wanted to see how the subjects who scored incredibly high on the dark tetrad would handle the pressure of faking good.
Let's look at the expected results first, right? Like the psychopaths and the sadists.
Yeah, let's start there. So psychopathy is a complete lack of emotional empathy. And sadism is characterized by actively enjoying cruelty.
Right, and society makes it very clear that these are unwelcome traits.
Very much so.
Like, nobody is putting enjoys casual cruelty under their special skills section on LinkedIn.
No, definitely not. And predictably, the people who scored exceptionally high for psychopathy and sadism on the Honest questionnaire saw their scores absolutely plummet when they pretended it was a job application.
Oh, so they heavily masked their true nature.
They did. They know society finds their core traits abhorrent, so when the stakes were raised, they successfully faked good.
Which tracks completely. I mean, if you know you're toxic, you hide the toxicity to get the job.
Exactly.
But, and here is the massive left turn in the data. The people who scored high in Machiavellianism, the professional manipulators, they did not change their scores significantly between the honest test and the job interview test.
No, they didn't.
They were basically the most truthful group in the study.
The data showed they barely altered their answers at all. The people you would most expect to lie their faces off to make a good impression basically just told the truth about who they were.
Okay, wait, hold on, because that does not make any logical sense.
I know, it really seems counterintuitive.
Like, if I'm a Machiavellian manipulator, a job interview is my Super Bowl. It is the ultimate test of my ability to spin a narrative and control perception.
Right.
Why on earth did the professional liars suddenly decide to tell the truth when the stakes are highest? That just seems like terrible manipulation.
It does. It seems like terrible manipulation until you look at the secondary metric the researchers were tracking.
Okay, what was that?
Well, they weren't just looking at the dark tetrad scores. They were simultaneously measuring a behavior called communal management.
Communal management.
Yeah. And this metric is basically the key that unlocks the manipulator's hidden strategy.
So if they aren't faking good on the surface, they must be manipulating some other variable. What exactly is communal management?
So in the context of this psychological evaluation, communal management is defined as the active denial of flaws and the denial of socially unacceptable desires.
Okay, so if I'm engaging in high communal management, I'm aggressively polishing my image to align with whatever I think the community's ideal standard is.
Right.
I'm pretending I don't have any weaknesses at all.
That's exactly. Let's play this out to show what it looks like in practice. Imagine we're in that job interview scenario. I'm the hiring manager, and I ask you the classic dreaded interview question.
Oh, no.
Yeah. What would you say is your biggest weakness? Give you the high communal management answer.
Okay, I would look you dead in the eye and say, my biggest flaw is that I just have impossibly high standards. Like, I care so much about the company's bottom line that I sometimes work too hard and forget to take time for myself.
Perfect. And as a hiring manager, my immediate reaction to that is an internal eye roll.
Oh, yeah, it's so fake.
It's a plastic performance, but it's also the default human reaction under pressure. The Novi Sad data showed that for almost all the normal subjects, their communal management scores increased dramatically during the pretend job interview.
Because when people get nervous, they try even harder to hide their real flaws and deny their weaknesses.
Right. But the manipulators did the exact opposite.
Wait, really? The exact opposite?
Yeah. The subjects high in Machiavellianism actually engaged in high communal management when they were being totally honest in round one.
Okay.
But when they shifted into the job interview scenario in round two, they decreased their communal management.
So they lied about their flaws less.
Exactly. They intentionally lie about their flaws less.
Wow. So most of us go into an interview terrified of showing a weakness. But the manipulator uses vulnerability like a Trojan horse.
A Trojan horse, yes.
Like, instead of building a perfectly impenetrable fortress of an ego, which makes the interviewer instantly suspicious, they intentionally leave the drawbridge down. They offer a flaw so you feel invited inside.
The drawbridge metaphor captures the mechanics perfectly. The researchers were actually pretty surprised by this initially.
I bet.
They didn't expect the most calculating people in the study to seemingly drop their guard when the pressure was on. But it reveals a really profound understanding of human psychology on the part of the manipulator.
Because they're weaponizing vulnerability.
Right.
And to understand how this works, we really have to look at the evolutionary psychology of trust. Because as human beings, as social primates, we're hardwired to look for specific signals to figure out who is safe and who is a threat.
And perfection is a threat signal.
Right.
From an evolutionary standpoint, if someone presents themselves as having no weaknesses, no moments of poor judgment, no selfish impulses, our brains register that as unnatural.
It just feels off.
It feels deceptive because it goes against the reality of the human experience. We know everyone has flaws, so if you hide all of yours, my brain assumes you are hiding something massive.
But when someone admits a failing to you, it acts as a shortcut to tribal bonding.
It really does.
Like showing your underbelly is the ultimate in-group signal. It says, I am safe, I am not a threat, I trust you enough to show you where I am weak.
And the manipulator maps out this biological flaw in our social programming and exploits it. They know that faking good to the extreme just backfires.
So rather than giving you that, eye-roll answer about working too hard, they'll offer you a carefully calibrated, genuine-sounding flaw.
Right. They sit across the table and say something like, honestly, my biggest weakness is that I sometimes struggle to delegate because I have trust issues with the process, and I am actively having to teach myself how to let go of control.
Wow. And the hiring manager hears that and feels a sudden rush of connection.
Absolutely. It feels like a gift. It feels intimate. The interviewer thinks, wow, this person is incredibly self-aware and honest.
When really, the manipulator has just bypassed all of the interviewer's critical defenses simply by offering up a foible.
Exactly. Which brings this research right into the real world for anyone navigating a career.
Yes, because why does this matter to you? If you're a hiring manager, a team lead, or just sitting in a cubicle next to one of these folks, you need to know the game they are playing. And just to be objective about the source material here, the Novi Sad researchers point out that there are actually scenarios where you might actively want to hire someone with these traits.
It's true. Machiavellian traits are highly sought after in specific, hyper-competitive environments.
Like what? Like high-stakes corporate sales?
Yeah, high-stakes sales or someone negotiating massive enterprise contracts. The exact same skills that allow them to hack a hiring manager's trust. Reading a room, understanding the psychological levers of the person across from them.
Maintaining a cold detachment from the emotional weight of the interaction?
Exactly. Those things make them incredibly formidable operators.
So you just have to know what you are buying.
Right.
It's not necessarily about banishing every Machiavellian from the corporate world. It's about going in with your eyes completely open so you don't become one of the pieces on their chessboard.
And knowledge of the mechanism is your primary defense. When you understand that decreased communal management is a tactic, you can start to observe it objectively rather than falling for the emotional hook.
So how do we actually spot it in the wild? Like, what is the red flag?
Well, the research points to a very specific warning sign. The next time you are in a situation where someone needs to make a stellar impression, so a job interview, a first date, a major pitch to investors,
right,
and that person readily, almost easily acknowledges their own flaws, you need to pause and pay very close attention.
Now, we aren't saying that every person who admits a mistake is a villain.
No, of course not. It could be genuine, messy, authentic human vulnerability, but you have to look at the timing and the context.
Right, like, is the vulnerability earned over time through mutual trust, or is it being deployed in the first 15 minutes of an interaction to fast-track intimacy?
Exactly. Is it a genuine confession, or is it a calculated chess move designed to lower your drawbridge?
This study just gives us an entirely new lens through which to view these interactions.
It really does.
The psychopaths hide their fangs, the everyday normal people try to polish their resumes to a fake shine, but the manipulator just tells you exactly what you need to hear to prove they are human.
Because they know that the absence of faking good is the most elaborate fake of all.
Wow. It completely reframes how we think about authenticity in professional settings.
Yeah, we are so trained to look for lies that we completely miss the strategic deployment of the truth.
This has been such a fascinating breakdown of the Novi Sad research. We went from the dark realities of Machiavellianism to the surprising mechanics of communal management.
And covering how our own biological desire for honest connection can just be used against us.
Yeah. The realization that manipulators are simply too smart to pretend to be perfect is, honestly, it's a powerful tool for anyone navigating complex social or professional hierarchies.
It really is.
And it leaves us with something pretty significant to chew on. As we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with a final, lingering thought to explore on your own.
Okay.
We've seen how manipulators have decoded human psychology to realize that radical vulnerability is the ultimate shortcut to trust. But if that's true, how do we distinguish between a manufactured performance of vulnerability and the real, messy human experience? If admitting our flaws becomes just another calculated corporate strategy to gain leverage in a meeting, what happens to genuine trust? Think about that the next time you were sitting across that interview table looking for a jagged white line that just isn't there.
Okay.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive, and as always, keep questioning the world around you.